thank you very much. And for those of you just joining, thank you for joining today's session as well. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, we kicked off on the Power Platform series, and we started last 2 weeks with an introduction to Power Apps, where two of our speakers took us through an introductory session. And just last week also, we had another speaker who took us through how we could work with various functions, components, and variables in Power Apps. So for today, we're going to be diving straight up into a fully hands-on session where we're going to be building an intelligent app using Power Apps. And our speaker for today is Willie Ekomobong. He'll be the one taking us through the session for today. So just before I hand over to him, I'll just go through our housekeeping rules again. Please, I want to crave your indulgence that this call is currently recorded and will be made available to you on our YouTube channel. So if you missed our previous sessions, the last 2 sessions for the introduction to Power Apps and how to work with variables and components, those recordings are readily made available for you on our YouTube channel, and I'll be dropping the various things of our social media handles later during this session, so that you can like us, you can follow us, and be well informed on sessions like this. Also, if you have questions, you can just pen them down and you wait for the question and answer segment. We'll be taking your questions. And I'll also be dropping a link to a short survey so that you can give us feedback on today's session. And we want to know how we're doing so that we can improve where necessary. So at this moment, I'll be handing over to Ekomobong Willie, and I hope you have an insightful session. Over to you, Willie. Hello, Willie, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Willie Ekomobong. Today we are going to build a Canvas app with Power App. Today's class is going to be very hands-on and practical. So I'm just going to carry out the brief introduction. All right, so my name is Willie Ekomobong. I'm a Power Platform and SharePoint engineer at Ha-Shem Limited. So I work on Power App, Power Automate, Power BI, and Power Virtual Agent. So basically, today's class is going to be about how you can build a Power App that solves a problem in your organization. So it's going to be practical. And for the past 2 weeks, my colleague Kayode has been taking you around the Power Platform environment for you to see how it looks like and how to use basic components. So today we are just going to put all the pieces of that together and build us a simple app. So the application we're going to build today is so I'm going to just share my screen so we can see what we're building. All right, so we're just going to build a simple leave request that has ability to make a new request, ability to make a pending request, ability to check your approved request, and your ability to check your requested rejected request. So the application is going to have a SharePoint backend where we are going to create our data source, and from there we are going to link the data source into our Power application. So I'm going to just quickly show everyone the backend SharePoint list, how it looks like. So this is the backend SharePoint list. It is basically the sample that I created for the purpose of this class. We are going to start afresh. We are going to start creating our list afresh. I'm going to show you how to put the right data type for your column. So that way, when you use the right data type to collect data from your application. And then we're going to show how everything get links to Power App. and how we can submit read and write data into our Power App application. So the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to start by creating our SharePoint list. So how do you create a SharePoint list? You log into office.com and you see a list of applications that you have there. So you click on SharePoint. So SharePoint gives you a list of sites in your SharePoint application. So you can choose to create the list on any of the sites there. So we're going to just create a list in our test environment. So just click on new list. So we are going to name our list leave request demo. Okay. So leave request test. All right, so once we create our list, we have already pre-created columns there, which is the title column. So the title column comes by default to the list. So and also by default is required. So you need to learn how to use the title column in your application. So title column, you can leave it there to be like the title of your request. So the next column we are going to add is, since is a traditional leave request, I listed out a couple of columns that we're going to have in our leave request. So these are the columns. So the type of leave. So the type of leave is basically, so in different organizations we have different types of leave. We have the maternity leave, we have the study leave, we have the student, we have education leave, and we have the annual leave. So this is a column that can store different choices. So we're going to use the choice column on SharePoint. So how do we add the choice column? We click on add column, click on choice. So this is the default look of the choice field. So the choice field is basically useful in Power App when you are trying to create like a drop-down field. So this is like the best field type to use when you're trying to work with drop-downs in Power App. So first choice is maternity leave. So there are different types of leaves, but for this purpose, we are just going to take like 3. So we take study leave, and the next one we are going to take is the leave. Then we give the name of the column. So the name of the column will be type of leave. So now the column has been created for us. So the next column we are going to create is leave start date. So this is basically like the day you start your leave. So call it leave start date. All right. So the next one we are going to have is the leave end date. So it's basically the day that you start your leave, and the day that you end your leave. All right, so the next thing we are going to have is your manager. So this manager field is basically the field of your line manager. So ideally, in most organizations, when a person takes a leave, the line manager either approves or rejects the request, and depending on how um, uh, also the manager, when you are working with Power Automate your flow. So in the next section, my colleague is going to take you on how you can use Power Automate to send emails for approvals to your manager. But this class is going to be for Power App alone. So the next field we have is the comments. So this the type of field is going to be a multi-line of text. So we have single line of text when basically you're just trying to write the title, so you use single line of text. But when you're trying to write multiple lines of text, like long description, it's advisable to use multiple line of text as your data type. So you save. For the manager, the data type that we use is called the person or group. So the person field is basically like a field that picks people from like the Active Directory of the organization. So the leave date also picks uses the data type called date and time. So this is really useful when you're dealing with date and time on Power App. So the next one is going to be status. So how do you track your leave when you send it out? So you need to know if it's pending, if it has been approved, and if it has been rejected. So you can have this pending, approved, rejected. So we are using choice field as data type here. So you call the field status. The next field we are going to have is the name of the requester. So this is going to be like an automated field. So once the user logs in into the application, the field is going to capture the username right from Active Directory in real time. So this field is going to be like a pre-filled field. So you don't have to type in any information into this field. So we just create a column on SharePoint, a single line of text, and call it the name of requester. All right, so now that we have finished working with our list, the next thing we are going to do is to create our app. So Kayode walked us through the entire environment of how the Power Platform look like. So this week we're not going to just go ahead of talking about that. We're just going to go ahead to create our app. So the first thing we're going to do is click on create. So we're going to create Canvas app from blank, and they're going to ask us for the app name. So the next thing we're going to do is put the app name, which is leave request app. And we're going to call the format phone. So it's supposed to be tablet or phone format. So we're going to use the phone format for this demo session. So we'll just be a little bit patient while our app gets our environment ready for us. All right. So what we have now, we have a blank canvas. There's nothing here, so we want to start building our app from scratch. So the first thing we need to do is rename our screen. So we just give it this landing page. So I'm just going to just so what I'm going to do is as I'm discussing, as I'm building, I'm also going to be doing a little bit of design. So the app doesn't look boring. So I'm just going to give it a brown color of blue, purple. I'm going to set an icon. So this class is basically the first session we're going to have. So this is just basically building an intelligent Canvas app for a leave request solution. So next class is we're going to talk about how to design your app, how to give it a good look and feel, and how to use some interesting features that Power App have, like collections and components to build enterprise applications with the Power App. So we're just going to look for an icon that represents something like leave. So we can just use this one. All right, so we input a label. Leave request system. So increase the size 30. Make it white. This is just make it legible for your users. So you can also increase the font size to go. I like using Lato as my font. So there's the button. Get started. can make the button yellow. Sorry, purple color. We can make the border. Alright, so we have our front end ready. So it's just a simple front end we have right now that we're creating. All right, so now that we've created our landing page, we just need to create the next screen, which is the home page. So let's duplicate this screen. I'll call this the home page. So we can still use this button. So we just need to create 4 buttons here. So the first one is going to be to create new request. The next one would be to view your pending request. And the next one would be to view your So the next one is creating of our buttons. So the buttons are basically going to navigate us to different sections of the application. So we can just copy this also. All right, so let's call this we can customize this part. So so the text, we can show the display name of the user, right? So let's show my display name. So probably you want to give the user of the application a good welcome message. So you can just say so we are going to use the user function on Power App. So the user function is basically fetching the user information from the Active Directory. So we can just put this formula on the formula bar. So user the full name. So since I'm the one using the application, you can see my name here. So if you are the one that comes into the application, what you are going to see is going to be your name. So let's go ahead and edit this button. So we have new requests. We have pending request. We have approved request. We have rejected request. Can also display the image of the user. So I'm going to put in the formula to the image property of the image. So we're just going to put in the user. We're going to also use the user formula again. So the user formula evaluates the information of the user from the Active Directory. So we're going to put in user.image. See, this picks my image. So we have our home page ready. Right. So the next page we are building is our form. So this is just like I'm making this class very hands-on, right? So what I'm trying to do is I want you all to see how you can go ahead from thinking about building an app to building an app. Like we're not looking at anything to build the app, but just building it directly from our head. So like this class is going to like help any and every one of us when we are building applications, so we can just think outside the box and build applications with ease. So we're going to add a new screen, new empty screen. So we call this new request. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is add our data source. So we haven't added our data source from SharePoint, so add the SharePoint connector. Leave request test, connect. All right. All right, so let's add our form. The next thing we're going to do is add a form. So the form is basically to create requests. So let's add our header for the page first. So we can set icon, a rectangle, and give it a color, purple. So this control is used for zooming in and zooming out. So if you are building and you want to see what you are typing, you can zoom out. If you want to see your entire canvas, you can zoom in. So next thing we are going to do is to add the form. So we are going to add edit form. Okay, so we connect data, leave request text. Okay. So the default mode for this form should be a new form since you are creating a new request. So always remember to change the default mode of your new forms. So we don't need some of these columns to appear on our form. So the status column, we don't need it to appear on our form. The name of the requester, we can, so we are, like I said, we are going to use that. We are going to make it pre-populated. So you don't have to type in your name when you're trying to make a request. So we're going to hide the status column. So we just go to we just delete it out. All right. So there's something we didn't do, which I'm going to do now. Sorry about that. We are going to on the status column. So when you're creating columns on SharePoint, choice columns, you have the ability to create a default value. So the default value is basically the value that field take when you submit an item to the list. So that value is default by nature, so it's pre-populated there. If that is default value, basically takes the value of the field when you leave the field blank. So we change our default value to pending. So what happens is that when you submit a leave request, your leave request automatically becomes pending before it gets approved by your manager. So we can come here since we have made a change. So one thing you actually face when you're working with Power App is probably like what we did now. We were working on the app and we forgot that we didn't do something on our SharePoint list. So once you make a change to your SharePoint list and come back to your app, it doesn't reflect immediately. What you need to do is click on these three icons here and click on refresh. So what that does is going to refresh your data source and make sure that any information that the app is getting from the data source is the current information. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to move things within our form. So this is how to. So let's say like now I want to move the name of the requester to the top of the form. So all you need to do is click on the form, come to the property panel, click on edit fields. So you drag it from where it is to where you want it to be. So I drag this, so now we can see that we have the name of the requester at the top. All right. So we can. So let's give this a. All right. So let's give this a default value. So default value is basically the value that the app takes when the user signs into the app. So you don't need to fill in that field. It just takes your information by default. So we're going to fill this field with a default value of the user's full name. So this is still the user function on Power App that fetches information of the user from the Active Directory. So we just use user full name. So you can see, yeah, they'll give me my name. So if you had the current user logged in, his name is Sunday, he's going to see the name Sunday. So right now I'm logged in, so my name is going to be Willie. All right. So we can also make this field to be disabled. So right now the field is on edit. So if you check the display mode of the field is on edit. So once the field on Power App is on edit, it means that a user can write information into it. So once you make it disabled, the only thing the user can do is to read data from it, but they can't edit it. Or you can also make it view. So let's make it view. So we just go to display the display mode property of that field and change it to display mode but of view. So you can see now the field is just view only, so you can't write information into that field. So the next thing we're going to do is to put our button to submit the form. So after you make your request, how do you submit your form? So it's just easy. All you need to do is come here to this button tab, insert the button. So you can put the button anywhere you want it. You can put it here. Or if you don't want it to disturb your form, you can insert. So what you need to do is come here, add the custom card. So you can add a button. So that way your button doesn't disturb your form. All right, so the button pop. So we can also change the theme of our app or add a little bit of cool designs to the form. So right now the form takes the default theme of Power App, but we can change the theme to so it's on the own tab. You can change the theme to purple. Alright, so you can see that we've changed the theme. So the theme also gives our app a beautiful look. All right. Okay, so all right. So now I've created our form. We've created our app to our app. So let's add a bit of detail to the top border of our app. So you can insert a label. Call this detail screen. And let's also insert a back button that takes us back to our homepage. So you can just search from the icon. So you can either use the icon that is available by Microsoft here, or you can add new icons, new images from your library. So we're just going to use custom icons available on the Power App environment. Okay, so let's just align this. Okay. So on select, we just put back on select property. So all you want this to take you back. So just put back. Or you can also use navigate to the screen you want to navigate you to. So let's use back for now. Then we'll show you how to use navigate. So now we have all right. Just let's link this new request to our new request page. So we just click on the button, click on the unselect property of the button, you type in navigate. New request. Sorry, my internet is a bit slow. Okay, so you can see I've linked it. So we click on new request, it takes you to our detail screen to make your request. Click on back takes you back to the page, the landing page, or the home page rather. So the next thing we're going to do is submit our form into our database. So okay. So when they select, what you need to do is put submit form. So the name of the form is form 1. So but it's good to name your form. So let's go ahead and name our form. So give it a request form. So okay, submit form request form. So next thing we are going to do is add a success screen. So why we're adding the success screen is that sometimes when for user experience, right? So when your user submit the form, they want to know that, oh, my request was successfully submitted. Sometimes people ignore that. So when the user submits, so sometimes people ignore that. So it leads to user submitting form more than once because probably thought that the first time their form wasn't submitted properly. So let's add a success screen. So Power App has a default success screen. So this is the screen here. So just all you need to do is come to home, click on new screen, and you see success screen. So you see this is success screen. Just let's call this success. So let's rename this button to submit. All right. So now we have our form ready. Let's test it out. Okay, one more thing before we test it, we need to create a rule that says. So what you need to do is you click on the form. So you go to the property panel of the form and click on. So the form has different properties. So that's the failure property. So what the failure property does is what happens next after the form fails to submit. So probably alert the user or so we also have the unsuccess. So the unsuccess shows what happens when the form is submitted successfully. So we are going to use the unsuccess property to navigate to our success screen. So what happens is when the user submits it and the form is submitted successfully, the application is going to take our user to the success screen. So let's click on success. On success. So on success, let's say on success, navigate. All right. Alright, so let's test our application if it's working right now. So title of leave, let's say travel leave, travel request, travel leave request. So type of leave, can say study leave, leave start date, day you're starting the leave, 20th of November. The leave end date can be maybe a 7-day leave, so you can say 27th. So you choose your manager. I'm going to just choose myself. You can add comments. So let's submit. So what happens? So I think our application has worked successfully. So what happens is when you click on, like, that's what we evaluated. So when you click on submit, since the form has been successfully submitted, the application navigates you to the success screen. So let's check our SharePoint list if the application has indeed been successful. So we see the application here. So this is our SharePoint list, and this is the application. So we have travel leave request, we have study leave, we have the leave start date, the leave end date, we have the manager you selected, we have the comment, and we evaluated the default of this status column to be pending. So your leave is now pending since it hasn't been approved or rejected, and the name of the requester, which is you. So I think my time is up. Catherine.
Hi, Willie. How you doing?
Yeah, I think my time is up. For we still have some things to cover.
Sorry.
We still have like an extra hour. There's something we need to cover for an extra hour.
So we'll not be able to cover that if it's going to take that much of a time, another 1 hour. So almost running out of time already. So if you can just quickly round off with this session, this particular one you're doing, maybe we can look at that as subsequent session.
All right.
Okay, Willie, if that will be all for this particular session, thank you for your time and thank you for a very insightful session. And to our listeners back home, thank you for staying back on the call. So we'll just quickly go straight to question and answer, the question and answer segment. If you have any question, please, this is the time for you to ask your question. You can drop it on the chat window, just use the raise your hand feature to ask your question. Okay, in the absence of no question, I believe we've well informed on what Willie has took us through today on building an intelligent low-code, no-code app with Power App. I'm sorry we're not able to continue with the session. We're going to have that next week where Willie will take us through the remaining part of the session. Once again, I want to say thank you for your time this evening, and please don't forget to fill our evaluation form on the chat window. And also for those of you that were not available for our first 2 sessions, we have them readily available for you on our YouTube channel. And I've also posted our various social media handles on the YouTube channel for you to follow us, like us, and be well informed on sessions like this as well. Thank you once again for your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing every one of you next week for yet another insightful session. Thank you, Willie, and thank you,
Sorry.
listeners.
Sorry, Catherine. I think there are questions on the chat window.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, Willie, we have a question for you. So what other things can you do with Power Platform apart from what we have been shown?
All right. So the Power Platform is basically a combination. So the Power Platform is basically a combination of different intelligent applications. So we have Power App, we have Power Automate, we have Power Visual Agent, and we have Power BI. So we can use Power BI to build visualization. So someone asked me, what else can you do with the Power Platform other than what is being shown here? So this is just basically the start of what we can do. So we can do a whole lot of things. We can build applications that does augmented reality. So you can actually use a Power App to scan a room, and the room gives you like the length and breadth. So and the app gives you the length and breadth of the room. So we can actually use a Power App to scan ID cards, right? So you can use Power App to scan ID cards. So the possibilities are endless. You can use it to do a whole lot of things. So it's not just a leave request system that you just fill forms and submit it. So you can also use Power App to build intelligent applications that can do more than form handling. So I hope I've answered the question, Mike.
Yes, you have. Thanks.
Someone else said asked the question of what else. Let me look at the question. All right, so someone asked a situation where you have more than one line manager. All right, so that's where the flow comes in. So on the flow, you can actually like define the line managers that are going to on different levels of approval. Or in case where you have more than one line manager, you can also create another column on SharePoint that allows the user fill in the name of the line manager. So this is basically just taking a simple case of a leave request with that consists of a user with one line manager. So if you are building for your organization, you can also try and consider users with multiple line managers, and you can also build a field on a SharePoint list that caters for that. I hope I've answered your question, and
Okay, thank you, Willie, and I hope that answered your question. And
right,
Madam Jumi, thank you for the additions to the question as well.
I think
Willie, you're saying something.
Someone asked, can the app be published? So yes, so let's just quickly publish the app now. So
Willie, I hope that's not going to take too much of our time.
no, it's not going to take too much of our time.
So are you sharing your screen again? Because we can't see your screen.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen right now.
Okay, sorry everyone, just a few minutes so that he can just show us how we can publish the app and also share it.
Okay, so this is so save. So once you come, you click on save. So I've already saved the app. So you have the option of share. So I can share with Basi, my colleague. Or you can share with anyone you want. You can also share with an Office 365 group. When you click on share and send an email invitation to the user, so the user get an email invitation, the link of the application. Once you click on share, yeah, the app gets shared. So with this link also you can access the app. So let's see our app in runtime mode. So all right, so you can see our app now in runtime mode. So I think that's all for this week. So next week we are going to build the different pages of the app depending the approved and the rejected page. Thank you everyone for your time. Thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you once again, Willie. Thank you, everyone. We'll be bringing Willie next week back to the show so that he can complete the session for today. Like I mentioned before, please don't forget to fill our feedback form. And also, I have posted on the chat window the various links to associate. If you have missed the previous sessions, you can catch up with it on our YouTube channel. Thank you once again for your time.